Hello everybody, my name is KingStix and today I'm going to be showing you an OP jungle route on Twitch to boost your win rate. It's extremely aggressive and catches most junglers off guard. I'm going to be showing you several different examples. That way you'll know what to do in different situations and against different enemy junglers. The first tip I have for this pro Twitch jungle route is to watch your red buff. You need red buff to make this work. It's all your kill pressure. So get in a bush, watch it, make sure you're in a safe place where you can react properly to the enemies moving. You don't want to put yourself up in a bush really far forward and not be paying attention, otherwise you might die and it can kill you. It's not uncommon for people to try to invade Twitch on his red buff. It's also good to give your laners an idea of what you're going to do on Twitch jungle. So here I said red, then top. This is also going to make Pantheon more likely to give me a better leash. Whenever you are getting your leash, don't make your top laner tank it initially because they'll usually just run away or act like they won't leash you at that point. So try to take at least 3 or 4 autos and only make your top laner tank 2 at the max unless they're willing to tank more. Very important, make sure you save your smite. Just finish off the buff by kiting it and killing it with your E and an auto attack. Now I'm going to run in for the gank. Once I hit this bush, I'll go invisible. If I thought Fiora had warded it, I would have gone invisible sooner before I got to the bush. I want to get as far behind her as possible before I attack her. That will have more distance. I get all the way behind her. I start auto attacking her. She flashes and I get off a decent amount of damage, not as much as I would have liked. If Pantheon would have started in stun, it probably would have been a kill. It really doesn't matter because that's not the key aspect of this pro jungle route on Twitch. Now I'm going to wait for my Q to be up and go to Rammus's blue. If it's a tank jungle like Rammus, you might have to wait a little bit. Make sure you ward the bush and then kill them. If they're already on it, you might consider letting them tank it for a little bit, but make sure you come in on the left side of the bush. That way you end up behind them, forcing their flash and putting them in a bad position. So here I am going to run up on the edge of the bush and then run in. I lay my ward to get vision of it. That way he can't run in and out, and I start auto attacking him, getting off a decent amount of damage. I still do have my smite, so if it came down to it, I could just take it from him that way. And since I have red buff, I have a powerful slow. I flash to get off one more auto and then E to finish him off. Rammus is fucked now. I still have my smite. My mid laner has the enemy mid laner in gridlock. Pantheon has shoved in Fiora, so now I can take Rammus's blue for free and he hasn't even respawned in yet. I'm saving my smite for the Gromp. I want to stay and take it. Rammus isn't likely to come back here since he knows I took his blue. So now I'm going to start working on his Gromp and I have my smite to get back a lot of HP on it. Fiora does disappear right now, so I'm a little bit worried. I'm just trying to kill the Gromp as fast as I can. And luckily I do get it and she doesn't. And I get it off a good slow on her. Pantheon flashes the wall and this is a free kill. Since I blew Fiora's flash earlier, I know she can't get away, so I'm just holding on to my E to finish her off. At this point, the game's over. Janna should be warding my blue right now since Rammus's only move is coming from base. His red buff is already gone. The only thing he can go for is pretty much my blue buff, so Janna or my mid laner should have obviously warded it. I told my Janna, so she went and did it. It was a little bit too late. Also, the enemy bot lane had shoved them in so they can just go help Rammus without really losing anything. Still, I did get 2 kills. I took his blue buff, Gromp, and Wolves. That's pretty much the end of the game. If you look, this was a pretty clear-cut game. With that advantage, in the early game, there's really no way to stop a Twitch jungle in solo queue. Alright, I'm going to show you guys another example of doing the same thing. Of course, I'm going to come out into this bush, watch my red buff, make sure no one's trying to invade. I see the enemy jungler is Kindred, so I know she's going to get to her blue buff a little bit faster unless she does a full clear and tries to do Raptors, Wolves, then blue. Would be really weird. So right now, I think Kindred's just going to do her red buff, Wolves, then blue. So by me doing red buff, then ganking top, I should still have enough time to get off a ward onto her blue buff, have my invisibility up, and then kill her once she has it about halfway down. Very similar to last time, getting a leash from my top laner, and now I'm going to go fuck with the enemy top laner, getting up behind him, using my Q once I hit the bush. If I thought it was warded, then I would have used my invisibility before I got near the bush, that way he couldn't see me. Olaf slow is really powerful. I just need to get behind J4 before I start attacking. I get pretty far behind him since he was already starting to run away. I wanted to open up and get off my red buff slows. We get the kill really easily and J4 doesn't blow his flash. Olaf does use his ignite. In my mind, I think Kindred should have done red, Wolves, then blue, so I should be able to walk over there in theory and then ward it, but she does have high damage, and if she did red straight into blue, she could be on it right now or just finished it. So as I run in here, I'm keeping a close eye on the mini map to see if she's on it and just has it in the bush, and I'm also looking on my screen directly in front of me, so I see the blue buff is gone completely by looking on the mini map. I figure she's probably on her Gromp. Sure enough, she is. I have red buff. I get up really close on her, basically in melee range, start shooting her. She flashes, I flash with her, finish her off with my E, and now I can take her Gromp for free since she's dead. There's no one to contest me, and I can also now take her Wolves as well because I see she only has 4 CS, which means she just took her red buff and that's it. This is really cheesy and will get you a lot of kills, especially in mid lower elos. People never see it coming. It's a great way to start the game by getting the enemy jungler's red buff, killing them, and putting yourself that much further ahead. I'm going to show you another example, but from the opposite side of the map so you can see how it's done. I'm going to get the leash, which is really nice getting it from my bot lane. I'm going to go invisible. I should have gone invisible before I left that bush just in case that area was warded. Now I want to get as close to Talia as possible and start shooting her. She doesn't really see me coming, so I get off 3 cheeky autos and an E, which chunks her down pretty low. Now I'm going to cross over and her minions stop chasing me, so then I turn towards the red buff. That way they don't know I'm doing it. I get a ward over the wall and wait. Rammus should have actually seen that ward before it went invisible, but I don't think he did. So he starts on it and I'm just going to wait for him to get it a little bit lower. After waiting a little bit for the red buff and Rams to kill each other, that way I can steal both, I'm going to come in right on top of him as close as possible and start auto attacking him, getting off as much damage as I can. And right when he flashes, I flash with him and hit him with one last auto and kill him with an E in midair. Now that he is dead and Talia is stuck in the mid lane, I can take the red buff without anyone contesting me. This is a massive steal. Rammus lost his blue buff, I'm taking his red buff, and I got a kill. With this lead, I can really snowball this game and win it for free. Nobody came to contest me, and Shen mindlessly split push top, keep pushing it in deeper, so I can just come up behind him and gank him now. And if Rammus goes into my red side, my red buff isn't there, so I have really nothing to lose, and I'm already still by my blue buff, so I can take that. I see Rammus in his jungle right now, and I'm trying to kill the Shen. Riven kept backing off randomly while we were fighting him, which ended up getting me killed, which sucked, but still I have a massive lead and Riven just got double buffs. Whenever you are utilizing this jungle route, really try to remember that it's not that big of a deal if you don't get a kill on the enemy top laner. It doesn't matter that much. Or on the enemy mid laner if you're on the opposite side of the map. It's more important that you steal the buff or kill the enemy jungler. That way the enemy team doesn't have a jungler to help out the other lanes. Nasus is so tanky, I don't actually think we can kill him, but I know we can burn his flash and I can hurt him so bad that Jack should be able to demolish him by himself in the lane phase. The Dorn shield is really paying off for the Nasus. He's taking a lot less damage. The whole point right now is building up your timing to steal the enemy's buff, because we don't just want to run over there and wait forever, and we also can't do it fast enough to run there immediately and try to take it before they get there. I thought Kayn was going to do Chicken's red and then do his blue buff. That's the normal Kayn jungle route. So as I walk up and I realized he could have seen me, I walk backwards as if I'm running away, but then immediately go invisible. That way he doesn't think I'm actually here. If he was good, he should have suspected something, but I don't think this Kayn is good. Watch how I run down towards the edge of the bush to cut off his escape route. I don't run straight at it. I run towards the edge, get a ward in it for vision, that way I can shoot him easily, and I start popping off. I had way more health than him when we first started fighting, so I knew he couldn't beat me. I just stayed calm, stayed in melee range, stayed on top of him. I got the kill, didn't have to use my flash or anything, and I steal his blue buff. This game is over at this point. There's no ways for the enemies to come back at all. Trust me, when Twitch gets this good of an early game, there's very little counterplay whatsoever. Okay, this is the final one I'm going to show you guys. It's very similar to one of the ones I showed you already. Starting with my bot lane at my red buff, this is probably the ideal side to start on. Crossing over through the mid lane feels like it can be easier to get a kill there, because top laners are usually very skeptical and scared that Twitch is going to come get them. In the mid lane though, mid laners, since they're so close to their turret, because mid lane is shorter, they feel safer. Very false sense of safety, because I can get, for the most part, all the way up behind them without them even being able to see me. Karthus is the enemy mid laner. He has no mobility other than his flash. He's very squishy, so I figured this should be a kill. I'm ready to use my flash and potentially take 1 to 2 turret shots to finish him off, because I can take 1 to 2 without dying myself. Another plus is it's Karthus versus Katarina, and I figured Karthus is going to try to play aggressive on her level 1 since Katarina has no dash level 1. This time I went invisible before I exited the bush just in case he had it warded. Now I'm going to try to get behind him, and he is playing aggressive. I get off an auto attack, move behind him. I keep moving behind him as I auto, and he doesn't actually use a single summoner spell, and I get the kill. Katarina didn't get an assist in my defense, but Karthus still has all of his summoners. Really weird death. I get a ward on the red buff, and now I'm going to run towards the bush waiting for the Kindred. If she did wolves, then I figured it might take her a little bit longer, and she took longer, and sure enough, she does show up here in a minute with her blue buff and her wolves taken. I can tell because I can see the blue buff on her. Also, I press tab and see that she has 8 CS, therefore that's 2 camps. I didn't attack her right away because I wanted to give Katarina time to collapse. If I attacked Kindred right away, she could have potentially gotten away by using her flash over a wall, but since I let Katarina get in here, we got a very easy kill. Now that Kindred's dead, I can go take her red buff with no one contesting it, which is also very nice. And that is going to wrap up this pro Twitch jungle strat. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'm sorry if it sounded like I was whispering for most of this video. I actually have been. I've been talking really close to my mic. My brother's trying to sleep right now and I'm trying not to wake him up. If you guys enjoyed this video and want to see more content like it and you want to support the channel, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. It really does help me out a lot. My name is KingStix. Thank you for watching and I'll catch you guys next time.
Yeah.